Welcome to the Matt Reiser Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Now, live from Buddy's Bar and Grill in Hammond, here's Alan Waddell.
The Southeastern baseball season has certainly hit the exciting point of the season, as our Lions have 9 big games remaining, including 6 huge conference games over the next 2 weekends. This past weekend, our Lions took care of business, sweeping Stephen F. Austin and improving their overall record to 30-17 and 17-7 in the Southland Conference. This weekend, our Lions hit the road to take on the conference leader in a monster series at Sam Houston State. Currently, our Lions sit 2.5 games behind the Bearcats, as our Lions are eagerly trying to catch Sam for the conference crown. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to the Matt Reiser Radio Show presented by North Oaks Health System, live from our home, Buddy's Bar and Grill, right here in Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you may be tonight, whether on the Lions Radio Network or watching the archive on Facebook or YouTube. We'll be with you until 8 o'clock, and over the next hour, we'll get Coach Reiser's thoughts on this past week as the Lions swept Stephen F. Austin, and look ahead to this big weekend as our Lions once again are on the road at Sam Houston State. But first, let's take a break. When we come back, I'll be joined by the head baseball coach of your Southeastern Lions, Matt Reiser. This is the Matt Reiser Radio Show presented by North Oaks Health System and Buddy's Bar and Grill on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
America's pastime. 12 players drafted in the Reiser era. 2 Southland Conference championships. Back-to-back at-large regionals. Coming off a strong finish in 2017, another intense season is on the horizon, featuring a gauntlet of non-conference home games. New season, same goal. Don't miss out on any of the action.
What does it mean to be Southland strong?
It's not just big wins.
It's success in the classroom
and being engaged with service,
family, passion,
integrity,
overcoming adversity,
hard work and dedication,
bettering people around you,
striving for excellence,
leadership and competition
on our campuses
and in our communities.
We are Southland Strong.
All right, welcome back to Buddy's Bar and Grill. Just getting started here on the Matt Reiser Radio Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We're talking Lion baseball till 8 o'clock. I'm Alan Waddell, and I'm now joined by the head baseball coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Matt Reiser. Coach, thanks for being here. Congratulations on a big weekend sweep over Stephen F. Austin, moving your record to 30-17, 12 consecutive years for Lion baseball with at least 30 wins. That took place on Sunday with the win against Stephen F. Austin. So you're 30-17, 17-7 overall in the Southland Conference. You got 6 big conference games remaining, but certainly a big sweep this past weekend.
Yeah, a really big weekend for us. It was a situation where we knew going in, Sam was going to McNeese and had a chance to catch up some ground. And, also we had to take care of business here at home. And especially being the last weekend with the conference, we had to do a good job of making sure those seniors were sent out on the right note. So we did that. We set a tone there Friday night. I thought we did a really good job there to make sure that we took care of business. The offense showed back up again after 19 runs that we scored there on Saturday against Nichols and scored another 11 there. And it made it, do the math there, 30 runs in 3 games there, or 40 runs in 3 games there. So we did a really good job of taking care of business. And, obviously found different ways to win this weekend. We did it with the offense Friday, had to do it with a pitch in there on Saturday, and then Sunday just kind of grinded through one. Both ends of it. You use some different arms. We used Mason Knopp out the bullpen his first appearance out of the bullpen, not having obviously the midweek, which was a new experience for him and trying to get him ready for that role, obviously for conference tournament. But we had to make sure we kept ground on Sam. We talked about it the entire season, so to speak. As obviously Sam's doing their deal, we're doing our deal. Just keep them in striking distance for that weekend when we match up with them, and then we can take care of business and keep this matter in our own hands.
And what Matt's talking about, Sam Houston State, they're currently leading the Southland Conference, and that will be our opponent this weekend. Lions will be on the road for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend series against Sam Houston State over in Huntsville. Certainly a big one as the top two the top 2 teams in the standings in the Southland Conference will place head-to-head this weekend. Matt, before we talk more about the sweep against SFA, I want you to talk a little bit about just where this program is at. And I just mentioned a stat a moment ago, and 12 consecutive years of at least 30 wins. I know we also have another streak of 35 wins in a year. So this team just consistent. The program here at Southeastern consistently puts a good product on the field year in and year out. Also, you qualify for the Southland Conference Tournament this weekend. 10 consecutive years now will be in postseason play in the Southland Conference Tournament. And because in the Southland Conference, everyone does not qualify for the conference tournament. You have to qualify. Only the top 8 teams get in, and you've done that for the 10th consecutive year.
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, I got one of the reporters asked me, hey, what was your expectation of seniors coming in? How is it to send them out with a series sweep? The seniors' expectations continue to grow. We continue to grow the program each and every year. When they come in to the program as freshmen, obviously the program's in a different state than what it was the 4 years before that. And the idea of the senior class coming in, when they come in as freshmen, is to change the program, take it a step further and take it a step deeper. And that's what these guys are trying to do. They've had a very successful career, but it's pretty unorthodox to have a senior day in April. Yeah. Very rare, but just the way the schedule kind of balanced out, and obviously the non-conference weekend there at the end, we had it this past weekend. So we still got a lot of baseball to play, so it wasn't quite as the emotional senior day as it is normally where, hey, this is the last game at the Pat. We still got 3 more, but just for conventional purposes and the way it worked out with the weekend and the gorgeous weather, we did the senior weekend this weekend. So, but that's it. You talked about the state of the program. They continue to instill that in the next class. Hey, man, look, we've done a lot. We've taken this program to another level. We're done now. When they kind of finally pass over that baton after that last game, hopefully it's in June in Omaha. When they pass that baton down the next class, they understand what expectations are to take this thing to another level. That there's never any content. You're never satisfied. And I've talked about this in previous years and different shows that we've done. I know what being an addict is like, to be honest with you, because winning I'm addicted to. Each and every year, hey, Coach, you don't get kind of complacent with, each and every year. No, I just want more and more and more. Maybe that's a little bit selfish. I have no idea, or maybe that's just the true competitor that's inside of me and inside of our program. We want more each and every year, so those expectations continue to grow.
30-17 is your Lions record. They're 17-7 in the Southland Conference. 9 big games remaining. You have 2 conference weekends. This weekend against Sam Houston State on the road. The following weekend will be on the road against UCA. And then the Lions finish up with 1 midweek game against South Alabama and then 2 against the University of Houston to wrap up the regular season before they head to the Southland Conference Tournament, which they qualified for this past weekend. Matt, I want you to comment a little bit. This was one of those weeks where no midweek, so it's just conference play, and it's going to be the same way this week. Talk about how you thought your pitching played out, the way it worked out for the weekend, how it'll work out for this weekend. And I know you mentioned last week on the show you were going to try to have some sim games in there and let some of those other guys get some work during the midweek.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good week for us last week to get a little bit healthier, continue to get some of these knack injuries and let Benjamin do his job there in the training room to get some guys back healthy and full go. It was neat because we got 3 weeks in a row of this. So last week, obviously, experimented a little bit. This week, we're actually going to tinker a little bit because some of the guys that came out of the bullpen seemed actually a little rusty. We brought Biddy out there on Sunday and was kind of overthrowing a little bit. In the sim games, we don't simulate we didn't simulate the base runner. We didn't simulate the defense. We just simulate basically, hey man, here's a batter, here's a pitcher. Y'all face off and throw some pitches. And hey man, if you slow the plate, no big deal. We want to recreate that. So this week, we get to fix that. We're going to be able to do some actual inter-squad tomorrow. We're going to get to put some guys in different positions, obviously, and run the offense and run the defense and run, obviously, the pitcher's going to have to hold runners and whatnot. And we'll have some type of, thing at stake, obviously, to keep it competitive, whether the losing team's got to clean up the stadium or whatever it may be after the weekend or go clean campus. But just to keep it in competitive nature. So we'll be able to alter the schedule this week, hopefully, to get ready for this weekend against Sam, see how that works, obviously to tinker for next week against Central Arc, and just continue to grow and build this thing and make our normal streak of being hot here in May.
Yeah, certainly it's been a little different schedule this year because so many games early in the year as you had a lot of those 5-game weeks, and now you finish up with 3-3-3. Only 3 games, or actually 4 weeks in a row with just 3 games during the week. So if you had to draw it up again, would you draw it up the same way, or how's your thoughts on the other way the schedule played out?
I'm going to tell you in June.
Okay.
We'll see how it plays out, and see where we're at with it. But obviously, each year experimentation is a little bit different, and the formula is a little different. And then eventually, hopefully, it all works out to where you can plan it the way you want to plan it every year. Next year doesn't have this same schedule. Next year's schedule will be completely different. I think our non-conference weekend's the 5th weekend where we go to Oklahoma State. So we're going to do that in between 2 conference series. So that'll be a little bit different for us as well. So, but yeah, we'll see in June when we come back and reevaluate the season and kind of see where everything was at.
Lions had 3 games this past week. They swept all those games. They knocked off Stephen F. Austin, swept the series, moved to 30-17 overall in the year, 17-7 in the Southland Conference. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll get Matt to break down all 3 of these big wins this past weekend right here on the Matt Reiser Radio Show, presented by North Oaks Health System and Buddy's Bar and Grill on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
This is not a rebuilding effort, like I said before. A championship without a degree is not good enough. I want to win now. Our players want to win now.
Be a part of the Frank Selfo era. Call 985-549-LION or visit www.lionsports.net.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
All right, welcome back. Here to Buddy's Bar and Grill. This is the Matt Rouser Radio Show, talking Lion baseball until 8 o'clock tonight. We do it each and every Monday night from 7 to 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you may be on the Lions Radio Network. Thanks to all of our affiliates for getting us up in the area so we can bring this broadcast to you. And also, if you're just joining us, you missed the beginning of the show, if you can't catch the whole thing, the show will be archived on Facebook and also on YouTube on the Southeastern Louisiana University Athletics Facebook page and YouTube page. It will be archived there for you later on. Matt, let's talk about the first game on Friday night. You mentioned it a little bit in our last segment that you really had a nice offensive day on Saturday of the doubleheader against Nicholls State. You didn't play a game the entire week. You had almost the entire week off. You played on Friday. You put up 11 runs on Friday night and knocked off Stephen F. Austin. And really, one of the big stories of the game, Taylor Schwarner, I think he had 7 RBIs in this game. It was one of those crazy games for him. It seemed like every time he came up to bat, the bases were loaded, and he delivered with a couple of bases-clearing doubles. But 7 RBIs for the senior, who's had a little bit of a tough year, and nice to see him have a big game on Friday night to help you get a big win on Friday.
Yeah, no doubt. It was a game we went into. They had an unfortunate injury, probably 10 minutes before start time. Their starter actually blew out his Tommy John.
Wow.
So prayers are with him, hopefully for a speedy recovery. A true freshman, I think, is going to have a big career there at Stephen F. Austin. Had been
you ever seen that before?
Their guy. It's the first time I'd seen it. I'd seen it happen in a game before, but not 10 minutes before the start of it. So it was very unfortunate. So, like I said, we're hoping that he has a speedy recovery. So they end up making the switch 10 minutes before the start time. The guy comes out. I felt like we had some really good at-bats. And just couldn't find any holes early. We swung the bat well and hard contact here, hard contact there, saw some pitches. Going into the weekend, we knew what their staff was. Their staff was a team that had a little bit of stuff, but that would walk you or hit you. So you had to take advantage of the HBPs and the walks and get the base runners on base, but you're going to have to execute and turn those in. You're going to have to turn them in with base knocks to drive those guys in with the guys in scoring position. And, we couldn't get those runners early. Man, he did a really good job of throwing strikes and letting the defense work behind him. And then we went into, I think the 5th or 6th inning there, finally got to him where he, we got a hit. He walks a guy, he hits a guy, loads the bases for Taylor Schwarner, and that's it, man. We made the call. It's always fun, the chess game inside the game, right? We got Drew Ravens up first, second, nobody out, who's been our best hitter all year long with Schwarner behind him. And most people in that situation go, hey, man, you can't bunch your best hitter. You got to kind of force their hand because, again, where Stephen F's had success is their starting pitcher goes deep in the game. Their bullpen has been kind of their Achilles heel all year long, which we saw this weekend. And so we go ahead, we use Drew, we bunt him up, and leave the base open there. Or we bunt him up with Paludi to leave the base open to where they intentionally walk Drew. First, Taylor Schwarner, and, that's where you got to have confidence in a young man. He's sitting in that 4-hole for a reason. History's been on his side, man, and he came up with a huge 3-run double there down the line to clear out the bases. That kind of really blew that thing open for us.
Matt, we talked a couple of weeks ago when we sat here after dropping 2 out of 3 against Northwestern State, where really struggled offensively, that weekend up there at Northwestern about the middle of the order and how, when those guys aren't delivering, it's tough to put up runs on the board. But you look at this game on Friday night, when you talk about Drew Avens, Taylor Schwarner, and Kyle Schimpf.
Yep.
On Friday night, those guys were 5 for 9 with 10 RBIs and 6 runs scored. And when you get that kind of production, you're going to win most of those games, especially out of the middle of that order.
Yeah, no doubt. And that was kind of the thing. After Aussie Schwarner gets the hit, Schimpf, comes back and bangs another double, scores another run. And it's just kind of the way the offense works and just the college game works. There's a lot of momentum built inside with amateur players and, the ups and downs with their energy and whatnot. So Aussie Schwarner gets a hit, Schimpf gets a hit. Hey, man, everybody gets a hit. Let's just kind of throw the free waffles or the free French fries out there for everybody. So, no, it was good to see, though. It was good to see him finally break through because we know as an offense, if we want to do what we want to do and where we want to go, he's got to go for us. He's going to continue to sit in the middle of that order. He's going to continue to get these opportunities and these chances. He's got to cash in on these opportunities, and boy, did he ever there on Friday night. Comes up again later in the ball game, another 3-run double down the line, and actually had another sack fly with 2 guys in scoring position. So, he had 4 opportunities to run at third base. all 4 great at bats, and I thought he was obviously the storyline there on Friday night with his production with running at third.
It's also big when you can go left, right, left like that. Kind of break it up, and that's really the ideal where you want to be, especially in the middle of that order.
Yeah, and when Schwarner's been kind of in this funk a little bit, we've gone left, right, left, left. With Schimpf in the 4-hole, and we've had a little bit of success with it. But I'm like you. I think in order for us to really do what we want to do, Schwarner's got to go. He's got to be in that 4-hole with Avens in front and Schimpf behind him, because those guys will do a good job protecting them, and from that standpoint where they got to pitch to him.
And just from a fan's standpoint, this is college baseball. This isn't pro baseball. You don't have all these situational arms and all that. Right. So if you bring in a lefty to face Avens, he's gonna have to face Schwarner right behind him. So that's why you like to have that mixing left, right, left. Matt, talk about Josh Green a little bit. Picks up his 6th win of the year on Friday night. Very economical. 7 innings pitched. Only threw 94 pitches in this game. Another strong start by the senior. And I think one of the things that is so unique about Josh is that he has the high velocity, he can get up there 94, 95 miles an hour. He's not a big strikeout guy, though. He pitches to contact, and that's why he's been able to go deep, really switching from that role of a closer role to being a starter this year, and picked up his 6th win of the year.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and we talked about that. That's from our standpoint. He's bought into what we're trying to sell and understands, hey, man, if you want to make that move from the bullpen to the starter, you've got to go deeper in games. Therefore, your pitch count, you're going to throw more pitches, right? But you're going to have to do a better job of being, like you said, economical. I think that's a fantastic word. He's not going out there trying to strike at everybody. He's wanting soft contact because he knows the more soft contact he gets, the deeper in the ball game he's going to be able to go. Hey, if you want to sit up there and try to take him, that's fine too, because you're going to be down 0-2 on a pretty daggone good arm that can sink it at 93, 94, and also throw you a slider at 85. So it's not very comfortable for hitters to get in there and just take as well. So he's understood that. He's bought into that idea and done a really, really good job. But that's why he's been so good and gone deep in starts and had a lot of success there in the starting role, because he understands that and has embraced that. So
the Lions knock off Stephen F. Austin on Friday night, 11-2. They'll turn the page to Saturday and try to win the series. And Matt, we're going to, before we get to the 9th, because that's obviously the big storyline of this game.
That's the only story. Should have just started the 9th.
But that's going to be my question. Do you want to talk about any of the game before that? But obviously you got a good start out of Carlisle Kessler. But this was just a low-scoring game for the majority of this game as you trailed 1-0 going into the 9th inning.
Yeah, obviously had a really nice offensive day there Friday. I thought we did a good job with executing what we're trying to do offensively and a plan and approach. I didn't believe that there on Saturday offensively, but when you have those right complications, you got to have somebody step up, man. And Carlisle Kessler did that. Again, another guy who just embraced the fact that, hey, man, I know where it's at. I'm not going to come in and yell at the hitters and tell them, hey, man, we got to score some runs. Everybody knows we got to score some runs. It was more of a conviction in his voice. Hey, man, I'm going to keep it right there for you guys. Y'all just keep working. I know eventually we're going to break through. I'll keep it right there for you guys. If y'all just keep battling and competing, and eventually we're going to break through and have some success, man. And he did that. And then also we bring the left-hander and Trey Schaefer, and boy, has he been good for us this year. You talk about a really, really bright future and pitched in some big moments for us this year, and he loves being in that moment. I'll be honest with you, just watching him out there and watching him pitch, especially there on Saturday, he really, really enjoyed that moment. I think he faced the minimum. I think 2 minutes he faced 6 hitters, and just really kind of set a tone. Hey, man, I'm with you, Carlisle. Hey, boys, we're going to keep it right here. When the offense is ready to go, we're going to keep it that one-run ball game. It's only one run. Whether it's 11-10 or 1-0, it doesn't matter. We're going to keep this thing a one-run ball game. We've won plenty of those on the year. So obviously build up to the 9th inning, right, which we want to talk about. First time in my career I've ever been in that position. Down to our last strike 4 times. Not once, not twice, not 3, but 4 times in the same inning and come back to get a come-from-behind win. It took a full team effort. We pinch hit Mike, his first at bat, post-suspension here. Hadn't had a bat in 3 weeks and goes up there, goes down 0-2 and 2 pitches. Bam, 1-2. It's really easy to mail it in or just, hey, man, coach, I'm just going to try to put it in play and just see if I can, get on base or something. He just did a good job of finding a way to work a walk, man. Fought off a pitch or 2 and gets the walk. Okay, hey, now we got a guy at first base and 2 outs. Hey, time runs on base. Who knows what can happen from there. Brennan Bro does a good job buying into it. He gets to 3-0, the left there with Starks. And when we go back and we talk about scouting report and history, they've done this all year. Stephen F. had Sam Houston beat 2 weeks ago. They were up by 4 runs. Sam Houston down by 4 in the 9th inning, and Sam comes back, wins the game on the same guy on the start. So we're reiterating to the guys, hey, man, the moment gets big for these guys, so just continue to put the pressure on. If you continue to put the pressure on, it's going to eventually become too much. I can promise you that. So he goes 3-0 to Brennan Bro, 3-1. Hey, automatic take, right, 3-1. But I actually give take 3-1 there to get to 3-2. And people go, oh, man, that's a good hitter's count. Why would you do that? Well, here's why. We're able to put the runner in motion now. So now when BB does split the gap, like he did, there's a possibility of scoring him from first base. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite deep enough. I don't think we got quite the right jump there at first base with a full count and 2 outs. But I'll see he gets the next guy to the plate. The whole time I'm sitting there watching this, I'm going, if we can get Cody Gross to the plate, we're going to win the game. Trenton Troxclair goes up there, gets down 1-2, battles, does what Trenton does, works the walk there to get the bases loaded. And if anybody else thought anything different that we were going to win that game once Cody Gross got in the plate, you're out your mind. Because that's the one young man, him or Drew Havens are the 2 guys obviously you won that moment in that situation. He gets down 0-2, 1-2, boom, bang. See you, good night, and just really proud of the guys for persevering in the moment, because that's the game we talk about that separates us from being able to chance to go this weekend, go to Sam Houston, take care of business, and take over the conference lead, or, hey, man, they're out of reach. It's going to be tough to catch them. This is going to be one game. When we look at the end of the season and we're talking about being conference champions, we're going to go back and reflect on that game right there that said that was the deciding factor.
Matt, you played this game at a high level, certainly. We're a starter on an Omaha team at Tulane, and you've been around this game a long time. And what can a win like this, do for your team? I mean, you're down to your final strike. Everything's looking like it's, hey, you know what? Hey, we played good yesterday, and it's not our day today. And you have nobody on base. You're down by 1, down in a 1-2 count, and you come all the way back and win the game. I mean, what can that do for your team moving forward?
It could make a year. We talk about sometimes in a year there's wins that propel you to success. Sometimes there's losses that propel you to success in your season because you learn in that moment. A few years ago was the incarnate word game, right? We always talk about that, bring that one back up. We're 1 strike away from 10-run rule. We're not talking about winning. We're talking about 10-run rule.
Don't remind me.
But I really felt like that loss made us understand how important, how valuable every pitch was and how finishing the game off was. So all we did the rest of the year was just finish games off. You look up and win 42 games. I think this is the flip side of that. I think this is a game where, hey, man, all hope looks like it might be lost, right? We're down to we're down 0-2 with nobody on base.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so, hey, man, all hope's going to be lost. There's no chance of coming back. If they didn't see the value in playing every pitch on Saturday, they never will. So now it gives us hope and confidence. Anytime we're in a ball game, regardless, down by 3, 4, 5, 1 run, down to the last out, down to the last strike, they're a confident enough bunch to know, hey, we've done this before. We've been there. We've had success with it. So now every time we get in that moment again, we have a chance to have success again because we've been there and lived it.
All right, let's talk about Sunday, and certainly you were able to roll that success on Saturday into a big game on Sunday, and you win that game 7-3. And I thought this was a really good college baseball game. It was really back and forth.
Yeah.
You had a really good start out of Corey Giacone, and I thought, Matt, your team, if you look back at the season, there's been some games where you had some leads late that let get away from us.
Right.
And in this game, I thought it was different. They tightened it up, made it 4-3, and we were able to add on late in the game and kind of close that thing out, where we hadn't done that at times earlier in the year.
Yeah, it was kind of a game of two tails, and when I say that is because the first 5 innings we had so many opportunities to really put these guys away.
I felt like we were up 5 or 6-0.
It really was.
Up 1.
We're at 1, and we just kept having guy on base, guy in scoring position, can't get the hit, line out. The guy lays out in right field, makes a play that takes away 2 runs with 2 outs on Shemp's ball.
Yeah.
And it kept feeling like, man, we're getting ready to blow this thing open, blow it open, and all of a sudden here they go, they counter, boom, boom, and they're up. It's like, hold on, we just won the first 5 innings. It felt like we dominated the first 5 innings, and we're down by 1 run. Are you serious? But again, our guys do a really good job of responding. They scored 2 in the top of the 6th to take the lead. What do? Hey, we're going to come back and we're going to respond with 3. But when you play a club who's fighting for their life, right? So we're obviously fighting to try to win a conference championship, but Stephen F. is fighting to get in this conference tournament. They're fighting for survival, right, for postseason play. They're not going to go away quietly, and they do a good job of coming in. We bring Mason Canop out of the bullpen, his first outing there. He gets a couple punch outs, but he gives up a couple of hits, and hey man, make it 4-3. They get the base knocked to tie it, and we throw the guy out the plate.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Bam, bam. Huge play there defensively because also we build that momentum, come back in the dugout, and then we throw this thing out, right? We get the knockout punch that we needed. Cody Gross comes up, the hero from day before, right, in Game 2, becomes a hero really in Game 3. He gets the big 2-out RBI base hit there, 2 RBI base hit to make that thing 7-3 and really put that thing out of reach.
Matt, any concern with Mason coming out of the bullpen, maybe not quite as sharp? Has he been a starter all year? Any concern there?
No, not really. You know, I'll be honest with you, probably wasn't the best of matchup for who he's facing, and I think that's what we're going to be able to do as we go down the stretch and we get in the conference tournament. But, you know, we need to get him in that role in that moment, to be honest with you, because when we get in the conference tournament time, you know, we're going to play best matchup. Hey, man, you're a really good matchup. I know you don't normally come out of the bullpen, but you're the best matchup for this club in these conditions in this field. You're going in. You're your chance to have the best success. So at the same time, we got Mason there. You know, we've got some key bullpen pieces too that we need to get in there as well that we always rely on. The Peyton Lee and Jared Biddy, and that's where I thought Peyton was really good. Biddy was a little rusty, so we're going to get back to those inner squads on Tuesday and really kind of interact and try to fabricate some of these situations for them so that they can be more prepared this weekend and knock some of that rust off.
Before we get to the break, I got to ask you about Corey Giacone. He picks up his 4th win of the year. And, you know, a year ago, at the end of the season, he was probably our best guy. I mean, Mac had an outstanding year. I mean, gets drafted really high. But at the end of the year, Corey, I mean, he was great. I mean, he was great down the stretch. And this was for me, this was a vintage Corey Giacone start. 6 innings, no walks. That's what he does. You know, he's going to throw it over the plate. He only threw 69 pitches in 6 innings. Is he the Sunday guy right now, Matt? I mean, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, has he won that spot? Where are you at on that Sunday roll?
Yeah, you know, it was kind of one of these things. We're going into it. We're matching up a little bit. Hey, man, if we need for the lefties, we'll go with, you know, Corey, or if we need for the righties, we'll go Grenier. To be honest with you, yeah, I mean, these last 2 outings, he's been really good. And the last outing, the stuff wasn't great, but he found a way to compete through 7. This go-around, he was really good. The 2 runs he gave up was a blooper, made 1 bad pitch with 2 strikes. The left-hand hitter who really saw it well this weekend, who's their best guy in the lineup, no doubt, 100%. So he knocks both those guys in with 2 outs and 2 strikes. So that was really the only blemish on his day, you know, and he goes 69 pitches in 6 innings. And we don't pull him, and really the only reason we pulled him is because we got extended that inning. So we had Mason ready to go, and obviously full bullpen, fresh bullpen. It was easy to make that move, but
you wanted to play with that, you know, throwing Mason in at the bullpen.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. You got to find out now, man.
Right, no doubt.
You know, yes, we're playing for championships, but you got to put these guys in the right moments and know that what we're trying to do, because at the end of the day, we get the auto bid if we win a conference tournament. And so we talk about NCAA regionals, we talk about trying to play in Omaha. We got to win that tournament. Mason cannot be in that role now. So when we do in the conference tournament, he's ready, he's prepared, he knows what to expect now. And that was kind of our conversation. Hey, man, you're going to get in this moment again. So be prepared. Learn from the experience. Learn from the success you had. He had 2 punch-outs. The 2 outs he got were both punch-outs, and some of them were some big punch-outs. You know, he just made some mistakes there and some counts he shouldn't have made those mistakes in. And then, obviously, hey, Stephen F's a good hitting team as well. You know, we did a good job of pitching to him this weekend. But if you go look by the numbers, they've done a good job of scoring some runs this year. They're in the top 70 in runs scored in the country. And, you know, obviously they made him pay for the mistakes he made. But, you know, yeah, we're just really proud overall. I thought it was a really good game. I thought we played really good defense. I thought we had some timely hitting. The 2-out RBIs were huge for us. And then also I thought we pitched extremely well with Corey Giacone there on the bump as well.
All right, we got to squeeze in a break here. Lions swept Stephen F. Austin, moved their overall record to 30-17. 17-7 in the Southland Conference. Sets up a huge weekend this weekend as the Lions are on the road against Sam Houston State, who's currently in first place in the Southland Conference. We're going to break all that down for you on the remaining time we have with you here on our show. This is the Matt Riser Radio Show, presented by Buddy's Bar and Grill and North Oaks Health System on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
America's pastime. 12 players drafted in the Riser era. 2 Southland Conference championships. Back-to-back at-large regionals. Coming off a strong finish in 2017, another intense season is on the horizon, featuring a gauntlet of non-conference home games. New season, same goal. Don't miss out on any of the action.
What does it mean to be Southland strong?
It's not just big wins.
It's success in the classroom
and being engaged with service,
family,
passion,
integrity,
overcoming adversity,
hard work and dedication,
bettering people around you,
striving for excellence.
Leadership and competition.
On our campuses
And in our communities.
We are Southland Strong.
All right, welcome back. Over halfway home here on our show. This is the Matt Riser Radio Show. It's your opportunity every week to hear directly from the head baseball coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Matt Riser, here on our program. If you're just catching up tonight and haven't been listening, you can watch this archived broadcast on the Southeastern Louisiana University Athletics Facebook page and also on the YouTube's page as well. Well, Matt, when the schedule comes out every year in the Southland Conference, if you're a Southland Conference baseball fan, you always look to see when the Lions are playing the Bearcats. This has been the best two teams in the conference for the last 10 years. Let's just call it like it is. I mean, and this is the weekend. You know, this is the weekend, and you got to go over there to Huntsville. It was a great weekend here last year. This is a team that we both were in the postseason. They actually made a run into a super regional a year ago. We took 2 out of 3 from these guys in Hammond last year. It's always a great series. It's been a little while since we've been over there.
It has.
It's been a little while since we've been over there because the way the conference, rotates, we had fallen off the schedule with those guys for a couple of years, as you don't play everybody every year in the Southland Conference. But it's good for the conference when these two teams get together in the regular season, and we're taking on each other this weekend. Talk about the Bearcats a little bit. They're off to a really good start. They have a strong record. They're 31-13 overall and 18-3 in the conference. We're technically 2.5 games behind them because we have played an extra series than them.
Right.
But break this team down a little bit.
Yeah, let's be honest. I think that college series last year was probably one of the best
awesome
college series you'll ever watch. Whether it's the rivalry of LSU Ole Miss or
not trying to cut you off. That Friday night game was awesome.
No,
I mean it was awesome.
It was one of the best college baseball games you'd ever seen. To obviously Saturdays, come from behind win with Carson Kreitz double off the wall there in the 8th inning. Even the Sunday's ball game where they squeaked one out against us and avoided the sweep. So it's always so much fun to play Sam Houston, and Coach Deggs and I have talked. We've got a lot of mutual respect for each other, and we talk about it, man. If we can just put Sam Houston on the schedule for 56 games, and they can just put Southeastern on the schedule for 56 games, we're gonna have a lot of fun, man. We're gonna have a lot of competitive baseball. It's the cultures are so similar in what we do. The environment that we create for these young men are so similar in what we do, and honestly, I think that's a big part of why we've had so much success in our programs over the years. They've got kids that believe in what they do. We've got kids that believe in what we do, and they just love to compete, man. You see smiles in the Friday game last year in the 2-1 ball game or 10th inning, whatever it was, because guys just love being in that moment, and that's what it's finding those guys in the recruiting process that don't love to be up 11-0. They don't love to be on a 10-game win streak. They love being in the moment, in the biggest moment, in the biggest adversity moments that there's possible. They thrive. They don't try to just survive in moments of adversity. They thrive in those moments, and I think that's what both clubs are made up of. And, going into the weekend, we know what it is. We're going over to their place where they're good at home. They've been notorious for years and years to play well at home. It's a club that's got a lot of returners in the pitching staff. They lost a few guys there. I'll be very honest with you. I'm glad not to see Robbie Rojas behind the dish.
Yeah, man, he was good.
He's a good player who's already in AAA baseball right now in minor league baseball. So it'd be nice not to see him. But obviously they got a few returners. And the Frege kid who's played kind of all over for him, played multiple positions, but is their big hitter there in the middle of the order. I think the Harp kid's back as well, who's put up some big numbers for him. And so they've got some centerpieces offensively that are back as well. And, it's going to be your classic battle, man, your classic rival, and should be a showdown all weekend long, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Matt, on Friday, April the 20th, they had Central Arkansas at home, and they lost that game 13-2. Really got beat up by the Bears, but they've really responded from then. They've won 5 in a row. They took 2 out of 3. Obviously, they won the Saturday and Sunday against Central Arkansas, and then they swept McNeese. And one thing is, since we're chasing these guys in the standings, I'm always watching their scores, and they always have a lot of tight games, but it seems like at the end they're doing what good teams do, and they're pulling away at the end and winning those last innings. And I know it's going to be important to get over there, finish games off, and get off to good starts, especially when you're on the road.
Yeah, well, and what we've told the guys obviously going this weekend, we got to sweep this weekend to set up for next weekend, and now next weekend's here, the Sam Houston weekend. In all honesty, I had this conversation today with a friend. We go over there, we win 2 out of 3. Nobody's going to be shocked by that. We go over there, we sweep them. I think a lot of people are going to be talking. I think there's going to be a talk not only from the regional level but from the national level as well. But that's what we have to do in order to catch the games, right? Get these games back up to where we can get into first place. But we don't go over there with a mindset to sweep. We never go into a weekend with a mindset, hey, man, we got to sweep. Because if we're talking about sweep, we're talking about playing on Sunday. And we don't need to worry about playing on Sunday on Friday.
Right.
What our guys have done a really good job of, and what they did a really good job of this past week, when we knew we needed a sweep to set up for this weekend, right, they worried about taking care of business on Friday, and they did. So we got to stay with that same mindset of going into Friday night. It's going to be a battle. We got Josh Green. We got a really good one that's going to be on the bump there for us. We're going to have to produce offensively, and we're going to have to continue to enjoy being in the big moment and thrive in those moments, and because those moments will be there on Friday night, I can promise you that.
It's a 6:30 first pitch over there on Friday. Saturday, it's a 3 o'clock first pitch and 1 o'clock on Sunday. The Lions and the Bearcats, it seems like in every sport these days when these two teams get together in the Southland Conference, something always big is on the line. The Lady Lions softball team swept the Bearcats this past weekend, so no pressure on you there, Matt, as they took care of business against.
And they swept them at Sam.
They did, so they swept them at Sam, so congratulations to Lady Lions softball. But Lions and the Bearcats this weekend ought to be a great matchup. And Matt, I'll get you to comment on this just a minute ago. I know you mentioned earlier about Coach Deggs, about a guy that you've known for a long time. He's a guy that, he's almost gotten famous here the last year.
Yeah.
He got that video after the regional win, put him into a super regional, kind of went viral. And I know he's written some books and all that, but this is a guy you've known for a long time. He was also at ULF. He was a hitting coach a couple of years ago, and certainly been around the country at some good places.
Yeah, with the life of social media, some people present different maybe out in the public, right, in the public eye, social media eye, than what they really are behind closed doors. And that's not Matt Deggs. Matt Deggs is exactly what you see, man. He's true to himself. He's always himself. He is a fearless competitor, and I think that's why we probably get along so well, because there's a lot of similarities in what we do and again how we run our programs. He has obviously been a lot more out there. The name has been a household name now for college baseball with this past year, and obviously the Hartfield speech he had last year. But I think what people fell in love with in that it wasn't fabricated. It wasn't a stage that he set. It was just truly speaking from the heart. And I think that's what college baseball needs more of. I think they need more guys like himself that have the true love for the game and true love for their players like him and myself. And I think that's why, again, our programs are so successful.
Matt, I know just a moment ago, or actually a couple weeks ago, you said, "Hey, you're not gonna lie. You're gonna tell the truth." That's one thing you always do on this show. And the way it's looking with the RPI, certainly gonna probably have to win the conference tournament to get into an NCAA regional. But this certainly does have an opportunity to really jump your RPI up. I think they're number 45, and one thing, they've had some big wins on the year, and being in Texas, they have a lot of opportunities. Like they play Houston this week in the midweek. They got Rice. They've had Baylor. They have a lot of those teams right there in Texas. They have easy access to and can play. But this is an opportunity with them being in the top 50 to certainly, like you mentioned earlier, make a little national statement.
No doubt.
They've been in the top 25 this year, too, I believe.
They have for a majority of the year.
Yeah.
They had that one weekend. I think they lost 2 out of 3, made to Dallas Baptist, and had that really rough game on Sunday, and that's when they dropped out of the top 25. They made another appearance maybe at some point in time, or might be kind of flirting with it right now. But, again, it's just it's a weekend that, for us, it can make some national attention. RPI-wise, again, it's something that I want to harp on and concentrate on, but it is starting to play its way out. And obviously, we've already talked about this last week where we had that 8-game stretch. Yeah. That pretty much put us out of the at-large talk, but obviously it still can catapult you. Houston went up 122 points, I think. They were 170-something, and now they're 50-something in 3 weeks because they played on the road against good RPI clubs. We're going to go on the road this weekend against good RPI clubs. Now, when you talk about RPI, obviously the other part of this you talk about, you got to win. Yeah. You can go on the road and do your deal, and you can make some advances in the RPI. But if you really want to jump this thing, these last 9 games are going to give us those opportunities. 6 of them being on the road, 6 of them being against top 50 opponents. We're going to have our opportunities to definitely climb that RPI.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get our final break in. We come back. We're going to wrap it up here for the last 10 or so minutes here with Coach Matt Reiser, as you'll get an opportunity to hear directly from him about where the Lion baseball is as we prepare for a big conference series this weekend against Sam Houston State over in Huntsville, Texas. Let's take our final break here. It's the Matt Reiser Radio Show presented by Buddy's Bar and Grill and North Oaks Health System on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
This is not a rebuilding effort, like I said before. A championship without a degree is not good enough. I want to win now. Our players want to win now.
Be a part of the Frank Selfo era. Call 985-549-LION or visit www.lionsports.net.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools, for nearly 500,000 student athletes, college sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
All right, welcome back. We have about 10 minutes to go here on our program as this is the Matt Reiser Radio Show. I'm Alan Waddell. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you may be tonight, whether on the Lions Radio Network or also on YouTube or Facebook watching the archive. I want to thank Buddy's Bar and Grill for being our host. Do a great job hosting us each and every week. Been a long time host of the Matt Reiser Radio Show since day one, since day one, right here at Buddy's Bar and Grill. Just kind of recapping the show a little bit for you, talk about what we've touched on so far tonight. Lions had 3 games this past week as they swept Stephen F. Austin Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday was certainly an exciting game. Lions were down 1-0 going into the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs. They got down to their final strike 4 times, came back and won the game 2-1 against Stephen F. Austin, and then Sunday were able to really have a late surge and knock off the Lumberjacks on Sunday to sweep the series. They're 30-17 overall, 17-7 in the Southland Conference, 30 wins. I think it's, what did I say earlier, 12 consecutive years? I think it's 12 consecutive years for 30 wins for the Lions, and 10 consecutive years, Matt, you've qualified for the Southland Conference tournament. So certainly this is a program of longevity, year in and year out, certainly in the conversation for conference championships and at-large postseason, getting into regionals, and certainly that's the goal for this program each and every year. Lions will have a big series this weekend. They're currently 2.5 games back of Sam Houston State, as they will go on the road and be hosted by Sam Houston State this weekend. So a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6:30 first pitch on Friday, 3 o'clock on Saturday, and 1 o'clock on Sunday against the Bearcats. Matt, one thing I wanted to ask you, this has been one of the things we've talked about all year long, is you've really had 5 starters this year, and you've played a lot of 5-game weeks, and it all of a sudden doesn't really go to 4 games, it goes to 3 games. So it got really shortened, and we didn't go from 5-game weeks to 4-game weeks, from 5-game to 3-game weeks. I want to ask you about Cade Grania. I know there were some people kind of asking me that back in the stands, right, what Cade's role is at this point. I know he's been one of the 4th or 5th starters all year long. He's pitched on Sunday some. Did not see him in action this weekend. He's a guy that we've seen throw a lot of quality innings for your program over the last few years. Yeah, he's a guy who's going to come out of the bullpen very similar like he did at McNeese, where he came in and just really shut things down there on that Sunday game for us. And, we had a conversation with Cade also going on the weekend and actually had a really good conversation. We discussed and talked about, like, Coach, if I'm going to be a bullpen guy, I'm good with it. You know that. Just treat me like the bullpen guy. I don't need to go down there 30 minutes early like a starter. From my mindset, just tell me, hey, Coach, go down the bullpen, go get ready. You got, 3 hitters probably get ready, or maybe even 2 hitters get ready. So he's been working his way, his mind, his bullpen sessions and that kind of stuff. His throwing sessions have been migrated a little bit more towards that, knowing that's probably what he's got going future, going in deeper into the season, and then also knowing that, hey man, we get to Game 5, you get the conference championship game, and hey man, you might have the baseball. Hey, here you go start it and go as deep as you can go. So he'll have that role. He's done a fantastic job. Obviously, that young man's selfless as they come and as competitive as they come. So he understands how vital that role is going to be for us. Making this run down the stretch, but also we got to do a good job of keeping him fresh. So he'll actually start tomorrow in an inner squad, and we'll get him a couple innings there underneath his belt to make sure he's ready for the weekend. It's going to be a huge weekend there with some righties at Sam Houston State. Matt, I know when you're constructing your team, you're looking at your roster, you're saying how we want to build this thing. Right. Obviously, the amount of quality pitching you have is certainly a benefit. And this year, we were just looking at it. Overall, your team ERA is 3.52. You have a very quality staff, and a lot of guys have thrown a lot of innings for your teams this year, but they all can't pitch every game. No. Well, what's the battle there of keeping guys that maybe have thrown more in years past, keeping those guys ready and hungry every weekend that they can be called on at any time? Well, it's not a matter of keeping hungry. We recruit the right guys that are extremely competitive, that understand that they're going to come in and always, be hungry. They're always going to want to go 9 innings. But the same mindset, the other parts that you got to have is obviously being selfless enough to understand, hey, Coach, I'm just waiting for my turn to be called. When you do, I'm going to go have success. It goes back to the phrase we try to coin is, just work, don't worry. Hey, man, just be ready for the moment when I do pitch you in. If you worry about when the moment's going to be, you're not going to be prepared to have success in that moment. So this is part of recruiting. This is recruiting the right guys in the right mold and the right young men that understand how selfless this program is and how we're here for each other, and whatever we got to do to win, we'll do it. Just when I get in that moment, I'll have success to help my brothers out and do that part of it. So, it's a season we talked about also going into with the staff.
where we felt like we were going to be at as a staff. This wasn't going to be a club that had 3 100-inning pitch guys, and I think that's what you touched on a little bit here, that how many guys have had appearances. Will Warren's got 17 appearances, and throwing 21 innings. We've got a lot of guys in that 20 to 30 inning range.
You got 10 with 20 innings or more.
That's really high for us. That's really high. That's really high for any staff. To be honest with you, in a year you normally use 8. In a special year, you use 10. Very rarely do you get into the 12 range, and we've got a few guys that have the ability to possibly get in that 12 range as well. And it's just it's a staff that's built very similar to Mississippi State when they made their Omaha run a few years ago, where you can basically, if you wanted to, split start this thing every week. Hey man, you got 5, you got 4, you got 5, you got 4, you got 5, you got 4. You use your variety of pieces in between to match up with lefties and righties and so on and whatnot. But these guys were made very well aware of that on the front end. They bought into that idea, and that's why these guys have had so much success, because they understand when they're getting taken out of the ball game. Corey Giaccone's only throwing 69 pitches, right, in the 6th inning. When he's getting taken out, he understands it's for matchup. It's not the belief that we don't think he can get him out, right? It's just a belief of the matchup is better for this guy to have success. So we want to put everybody in the best position for them to have success, and they've bought into that idea, and I think that's why they've had so much.
Matt, quickly, we have a few minutes left to go on our show. I want to get you to touch on this, going to a big conference weekend against Sam Houston State. The corner outfield positions this year have just kind of been a rotation. I mean, where are you at right now? We've seen Paludi, we've seen Trenton Troskler, we've seen Mike Taylor, we've seen Steckler. It seems like you just kind of been waiting for one of those guys in those places to jump up and take it.
No doubt, and this is one. Paludi has gotten an opportunity, and he's going to be in there. You're going to look at numbers. Man, he's only hitting 1 whatever. If you have been at the ballgame and watched how many balls he's hit hard, he's hit the ball harder than anybody else we've had in the lineup the last 2 weeks. He's just had 0 to show for it. The quality at bats on my sheet that I keep up with is off the charts. It seems like every time the kid comes up, he continues to get hard contact, just hasn't had success.
You like him in the 2-hole?
I like him, man. I like him. He's aggressive. He's fearless. He'll actually take the walk when you need it, and he'll flip his bat between his legs. He's got that little unorthodox walk that I've never seen before. He can run a little bit. He can handle the bat, so he can hit and run if he wants to. He's going to be good enough to be able to do a run and hit and actually drive a ball in the gap. He's got some strength as well. Really like him at 2-0. We got to find this other position, and obviously Mike's off suspension now, so he'll have the ability. Steckler, showed signs of going and then kind of cooled off again this weekend. He's dealing with a little bit of an injury in the hand as well. I think that's bothering him a little bit. So we'll see where this last position kind of comes out. I run Troxler out there on Friday night. He hits a double off the wall. And then Saturday, Sunday kind of struggles with the bat there a little bit. Had the one big at bat for us in the big moment there on Saturday, but other than that, kind of struggled. And we know, everybody has an identity and what they are and who they are, but we've got to get some more production from a third outfielder somewhere in there to make this thing go.
Matt, a couple minutes left. Give us your final thoughts of the night as we head into a monster weekend this weekend against Sam Houston State.
Yeah, hard to believe. We got 9 games left, man. 2 conference weekends. But, again, we strive every year to put ourselves in the right position for goal number 1, and that's to win a conference championship. And we have done that. We've got 6 games left. Obviously they're all on the road here to go have success in Huntsville and Conway, and those going to be 2 big tasks. But we're going to take them and tackle them one game at a time. And I really like where our club is molding to. Drew Avens has really emerged as our leader, man. Just watching him after that Nichols series, and we talked about Nichols every year gets us going. They like to run their mouth a little bit, and it kind of wakes up that sleeping giant. Well, also they've done that. We've won 5 in a row. But to think that John, they woke up more than any was Drew Avens. The leadership he's shown in the last 5 games, and he's always been the example, right? The guy you watch and shows you how to do things. He's tried to learn how to be the verbal guy as well. He has done that the last 5 games. What he's coming in, the energy he's providing when he has success and when he doesn't have success has been huge for us and vital for us, and I think that's where a lot of this is coming from.
The top 2 teams in the Southland Conference will square off this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6:30 on Friday, 3 o'clock on Saturday, and 1 o'clock on Sunday. We're completely out of time. Your Lions will take on Sam Houston State this weekend, as that's going to do it for us. For the head coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Matt Reiser, I'm Alan Waddell. This has been the Matt Reiser Radio Show presented by Buddy's Bar and Grill and North Oaks Health System on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.